You are listening to the Starter Girls podcast with Jennifer Loading. Whether you are starting a project, starting a business, starting a brand, or starting a movement, we are here to talk about it. And the Starter Girls show is brought to you by Walt Mills, photographer of Glad Models Agency. If you are here in the Dallas area or surrounding area and you're looking for some photography, check out Walt Mills. You can learn more about him and his work at photosbywalt.com. And with that, we are going to get things started. Today is a great day to be brave. You might as well start now. You have the power to change your circumstances any day you decide. Let today be that day. Rise up, be amazing, be you, do you. All right, guys, I'm super excited to welcome my guest today to the show, Jens Johnson. Welcome, Jens.
Welcome. Thank you so much, Jennifer. I love you to death.
Thank
I
you.
love being here with you.
Thank you. Well, I'm going to tell our listeners a little bit about you before we jump into this because she is a powerhouse. You guys are going to love her. She is the Mindset Master, a nationally recognized top leader, producer, and trainer across multiple industries. Jens is known as a change agent for her work in team culture and producing positive results with contagious energy, passion, and love. She's the founder of Jens Johnson Inspires, a company designed to facilitate growth and success in all three pillars of development of a person: personal, professional, and legacy. Jen's passion is helping people move into effective action and achieve next level growth, resulting in becoming one of the 1%ers in the world. True top producing leaders. She has over 25 years of experience coaching, consulting, training, professional speaking, leading successful teams, and creating positive results. She understands when a person is happy, they are healthy. Productive person that contributes their best efforts. Jens holds a master's degree in human resource development, a bachelor's degree in health and wellness, which speaks to who she is at the core. A professional focused on the complete development of a person mentally, emotionally, physically, and professionally. Along with being a podcast host of 3 different shows, Jens is a clarity coach, mastermind facilitator, and executive managing director of eWomenNetwork, Dallas. Her greatest joys are her family, helping drive positive results, and the ongoing philanthropy work that involves multiple agency and touches thousands of people's lives.
I'm tired.
Oh, but I love that bio.
I'm tired. Just listening to that.
Oh my goodness, I love it. You have so much going on. But you know what? Yeah, that is something to be like, I just think, proud of. Like, what a legacy, right?
Don't you think most women wear like 10 hats?
They do.
And I'm not saying anything badly about men, okay?
Right.
I'm not saying anything about the male species, but most women I know, they're go-getters.
Yes.
At least the ones I hang around with, Jennifer.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. Well, and it's so funny when I read these bios because I've had this happen so many times. We go through it and they're like, you read this bio and they're like, wow, I'm tired listening to that. But, you know, there's so much great stuff. And, you know, I always talk about what this podcast is always about is showing people that everyday ordinary people live extraordinary lives by making extraordinary decisions.
That's
and so
exactly
you've definitely
right.
done that. That's
exactly
why this thing is powerful. So what I want to do, I want to start off really quick, just kind of take us through this because as we know, you know, we don't wake up this way. This is a process for us. It's a journey to get through these steps. And so I kind of want to backtrack a little bit and just kind of tell us how this sort of kind of came about for you.
Well, you know, my dad was a professional tennis player. And when I was growing up, I had no idea that what he was doing was he was just pouring in personal development. And I say the winning mindset. Because when you are at the top 1% at whatever you're doing, whether it's sports, whether it's your, being a parent, whether it's in philanthropy, whatever it is, when you're at that top 1%, you have to have a certain mindset. So what he did, and my mom was really super positive as well, and they just prepared us for the world because they prepared our mind and our spirit and our soul. So when I graduated high school, I'm not even kidding you. So I was one of those that when I was growing up, everybody would come to me and say, Jens, you know, here's my problems. And I've always been into exercising and working out, and I would literally go run and I would figure out everybody's problems when I was running, you know, and I had no idea the power of the mind and what my parents had instilled in me until I went to college. And when I went to college, I just started to see a vast difference between the way other people my age thought and the way I thought. You know, other people would freak out over little small things, and they would get so upset if things didn't always go their way. And that's when I started to realize, I'm different. And it's because of the way I was raised. It truly was because of the way I was raised. But I was telling Chris earlier today, I said, my mom, bless her heart, she's 85 years old. She's on hospice. She's got cancer, but she's got memory issues. So she doesn't even know she has cancer. Okay. So she has no pain whatsoever, which is awesome. But one of the things that I've done, the minute we found out she was in hospice, I created a special family page in Facebook. And every time I go see her, I do a video. And I always ask her, Mom, do you have any words of wisdom? And one of the words of wisdom she said one time recently is she said, just keep moving. Just always keep moving, because if you're moving, people can't catch you.
Absolutely.
But that's the way she lived her life. And that's the example that she had for me as well. And so I keep moving. My name, Jens, is the French word for people. I'm a people person. I absolutely love people, and I like to help people reach their fullest potential. And we're limitless, so we're always going to be growing, you know. And that's really, my love for people, my love for helping in any capacity that I can. And I just I go with my gut. If something feels great to me, I just do it. One of my personal sayings is, life is like a maze. There's one right way in and there's one right way out, so we can't screw this up. You just got to keep moving.
That's great.
You just got to keep moving.
Yeah.
So
I love it.
That's kind of how it started.
That's so awesome. Well, and you definitely have, energy, and I love that, because I am an energy person. And and I think that when you're passionate about what it is that you're doing, that kind of comes out in who you are as an individual. People know. They know when you're not passionate. They know when you are passionate. And if you're not, don't coach.
Right.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah. And but this.
Yes.
Don't you, when you see people and they're miserable, because just like you said, you can tell.
Right.
And maybe that might be you, but don't you just say to yourself, and I'm sure you do this, because I do it too, over time, but you're like, you don't have to be miserable.
No.
You don't have to live like this. Your life can change by just new decisions that you make. And then those new decisions are going to yield different actions, and you can change your life. So that's what it makes you sad when you see people that way, because it does not have to be that way.
100%. 100%. I was on a call, on a show today, and we were talking about that, because one of the things that when I wrote my book, a lot of the stuff that I wrote in my book was about my journey that I went through. It was my health condition, but everything that I had learned coming through that. And I was telling her today that I needed to add another section to the book, because we're constantly growing and learning things. But one of the things I told her, because she was asking me for like some nuggets of information about how to be resilient. And I said, you're always a decision away from the next change. And it really, one of the things I told her was that when I made the decision to go from being a victim to not being a victim, it was really just a decision.
Right.
Yes, I did a bunch of things in the middle that helped me get better and get out of that, but it was really just the decision.
Right.
It was the choice that I made, that I didn't like this situation. How do we change this situation? Right. So something you said earlier that I thought was really interesting was the part when you said you were running and you were like, you'd take everybody's problems and solve it.
I still do that. Okay. I still do that.
I do too. I'm a problem solver. And so, when there's something I can't solve, I move, because the only thing I know to do when I can't solve something is go to work. It is to start doing something. And usually it means I need to help somebody else. I need to serve. I need to do something out of my space and get into somebody else's space. And so I love that. And I think that really comes across in what you're doing. And so that's why, you're passionate about it. And the moving part, I think, is just part of who we are.
That's right. We're always on the go.
I'm always on, and I have 3 of my kids. My youngest is the same way. He's always has to be like doing something, like moving into something else, creating something else, starting something. And so I laugh about it all the time. But this is so awesome. So a couple things, I guess, what I know you're in network marketing. So and is that where you started before you kind of moved into the coaching? That was the beginning stages?
Really, my master's degree is in training and development.
Okay.
I worked for a healthcare system for many, many years.
Okay.
And in fact, that's when I got into podcasting, really.
Okay.
So one of the things that I did when I was in the healthcare is we had a TV show. It was a local TV show called Medically Speaking.
Okay.
And the marketing director was the one that was in charge of it. And he left. And the new marketing director that was hired said, she just did not want to do it. She said, I don't want to have anything to do with this whatsoever. And as we were sitting around the table saying, okay, who can take this position? The business development director said, Jens, it's got your name written all over it. Because number one, we had to bring the physicians on the show. And they said, you've got such a great rapport with the physicians. You go ahead and do it. So, get in. And so I just started, man. I just started doing that. And I loved doing that. But tell me what the question is. I forgot it, Jennifer.
I was like, hey, this is me all the time. This is why I have notes on the table so I can stay on point.
Jennifer has her notes and I should have mine.
It's all good. We were talking about you starting out in network marketing.
Oh,
but
yeah,
you
network
were on the
marketing.
right track because you talked about you were corporate, yeah.
But when I was in training and development is when I started really realizing that, people are limitless.
Right.
And they can grow and grow and grow. And I loved helping in that corporate environment. But what I realized, and you're probably the exact same way, is when you're helping someone grow in any aspect of their life, you become close to that person. Mm-hmm. You connect on such a deeper level.
Right.
And so I would find that here I am coaching in training and development in the corporate setting, but then we would become friends. And then it would go outside of that corporate setting. And we were talking earlier how somebody is attracted to you. And so they say, okay, I want to become your client.
Right.
And they want to become your client because maybe they want to work with you on systems, or maybe they want to work on growing their business, or maybe it's, they want to follow their passion and start leaving some legacy. But it doesn't matter why they came to you, you get so much deeper.
Right.
So that was really my first experience with working with people and getting out of that realm. And because my undergraduate degree is in health and wellness, let me tell you what, I have helped people lose 90 pounds, 50 pounds. So again, maybe even somebody's coming to me for business.
Right.
But before long, if you're going to hang out with me, we're going to address the whole person.
Yeah.
And then I was married, I got divorced, I got remarried, and I actually stumbled into network marketing about 8 years ago.
Okay.
Never had done it before, but I never thought anything badly about it. I just never had done it before.
Right.
And with the background with training and development, I knew how to create systems and teach them. And really in network marketing, in anything, systems are the foundation of your success. And I would just learn the systems and I would teach them, and I love people, and so I could help people, and that really exploded. And then my business grew away from me, like we were saying. Right. That is your goal if you're in network marketing. Yes. Don't be so important. You want your business growing away from you. And then I started the Jens Johnson Inspires about 4 years ago, and I just love it. I love it.
You're doing so many great things. I love it. Your story is so impressive. And I think the thing that resonates with me is when you talk about helping the person whole, because that's a lot of what I talk about. It's not just about getting somebody physically fit. It's also about getting them mentally fit. And I often talk about even, because I've worked out for years, like I work out still every single day. That is just who I am. But one of the podcasts that I just recorded last week, we were talking about that, how I feel like personal development is even above exercise, because that part has to be completely intact, because when you work on that, everything falls into place. Your workouts are better, relationships are better,
everything,
work is better, everything is better.
Yes.
So I love that you said that, because I think a lot of times, and this may have been what you found, is a lot of times when you're in organizations, whether it be corporate or other organizations, there's this surface level. It's like you don't ever get the onion layers peeled off, because and that's what I found a lot of times, is that we're working on the base level with people, but really to get people to change, you've got to start peeling onion layers down.
And and here's been my experience, and I'm interested to see if it's consistent with yours, because I think it will be. But to me, the factor is love. And that's why working with a coach or a mentor or whatever you call it is so vitally important, because so many people, they don't love themselves.
100%. Yeah.
And when you're with someone, they're borrowing your belief, they're borrowing your knowledge, your hope, your love, and it's when a person is loved that they begin to change. So one of my sayings I say is, you've got to be in an environment of love to grow to your fullest potential. And that was what made me start my mastermind. So, of course, I love personal development. I love reading, and I love Napoleon Hill. I mean, he's one of my favorite authors. And who would, 1920s, that's the thing. Look, the secret to success is just, it's the exact same, right?
Yeah, it hasn't
There's
changed.
no secret. There's no secret.
Right,
It's you just have to do it.
Yeah.
You got to apply it.
Yeah.
But when I read his 17 laws of success, and one of those laws is participating in a mastermind, and I was doing all of the other 16.
Right.
And I just said, well, massive success, if all the massively successful people participated in a mastermind, and I want to be massively successful, then I'm going to have to participate in a mastermind. And I was actually with the National Speakers Association at the time, and I was at a conference there about 5 years ago, and they had a whole day on masterminds. And so,
Wow.
I had just read the book. I've been thinking about this thing when I was running, and then I'm at this conference, and I said, well, I'm going to start a mastermind. And I'm actually in the process of writing a book with the results of the people that have been in the mastermind for the last 4 years. And that is the main contributing factor, is the environment of love that we created, and how these people have dramatically changed their lives through that environment of love. And it's amazing. So my working title for my book is Linking Love to Leadership.
I love that. And I do agree with you that 100%, because the company, the network marketing company that I came from before, that was the culture, and that was a big part of what we would do. And so I, have been fortunately blessed that in the space that I've been in, I've had, mentors for 20 years. I've had incredible people, and that has always been a big part of it, just creating that culture of safe space. But you are right. It has to be a love thing, and it has to be culture, and people have to have a place where they can borrow your faith, your belief, until they believe it themselves. And so interesting that you talk about that too, because that was one of the things when I was creating this podcast, was that this was something that I had wrestled with, but also in working with women, that it was the thing that drove me crazy, because I could teach people, I could teach people all day long how to build a business. But if I couldn't get around that head stuff and all that inner turmoil and all of that, we were just stuck. We were deadlocked.
What's crazy is one of the things that I did, I was the chairperson for the Women's Sports Foundation down in the Austin area.
Okay.
And, of course, sports has been a big part of my life, athletics. And there's studies that have proven that boys and girls' self-esteem is about the same until adolescence.
Okay.
And then from adolescence on, the boys continue to rise and girls start to fall.
Interesting.
And it's just, there's such a dynamic around just the female, the hormones, the dynamic of how girls interact with one another, the mean girl syndrome and all that stuff, where it's, it's a different dynamic. And that's one of the reasons why I think that if you are a female, and I love what you're doing with everything, because it is so targeted to females, but we have to collaborate. We have to help one another. We have to love one another. We don't have to compete.
Right.
And I do think that's changing. And I personally won't associate with any females that aren't that way.
I'm the same way.
I just won't do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Life is too short.
Exactly. I don't have time for it.
There was a gal that came on my show, I think the week before last, Andrea Crum. She has a new show called Girl Talk. It's genuinely you, real leadership talk. And it's basically she pulls leaders on the show. But one of the things that she said that resonated with me, and I'm a story collector. So every time somebody comes on here, I have a little nugget of information I take away and I collect these stories. And so one of the things we were talking about was Mean Girls. And she said something that stuck with me was that when women don't know their significance, that's when you find that happening.
Totally.
And so I feel like I agree with you that I do distance myself. I've been in that environment. I've had those on my team and in my it's a cancer.
Right,
it's a cancer within the organization. And so I feel like, life is too short. There's a lot of women out there that want the help, and there's a lot of women that are getting the help. And those are the people you want to be around.
Well, and you said something that I think is really important also is when you know your identity.
Right.
When you know your identity, you're secure.
Yeah.
And, your identity comes from within. It doesn't come from without. It's not what you do. It's who you are. Right. And we're all, I say everybody has a unique fingerprint and everybody has a unique soul print. And we're all so different and amazing and fabulous, even if we do the same thing.
Right.
One of the things that I like to do when I do presentations or do an event is I like to Somewhere Over the Rainbow is one of my favorite songs, and I will have the video of Judy Garland singing it in The Wizard of Oz. I'll have Patti LaBelle singing it, and then I'll have Barbara Streisand singing it.
I love that.
And we watch it right after one another,
Yeah.
and then at the end I say, which one is the best singer? Well, you can't say.
Right.
Because
They're all good.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
They're just, one might resonate more with somebody, but you can't say who did it the best.
Right.
And that's the point is because we're different, we can do the exact same thing, but we're going to do it a little bit differently.
Absolutely.
So our power is ourselves. You are your power. And that's your identity. So when people understand who they are, they're so much more fun to be around.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it takes away the scarcity mindset.
It does.
It becomes,
Totally.
yes, because I've had several coaches on this show and I've never felt threatened by that because I feel like, yes, we all do the same thing, but we have a different way we present it. And the person that may resonate with you may not resonate with me and vice versa. And I'm okay with that. And I think that's what you said perfectly well is we bring our own uniqueness to the table.
And here's something that just popped into my head. So I'm going to say it, anytime something pops into my head, what if you got a group of like 5 just badass coaches that they all have a different specialty, and you had a person come in and literally it's like, okay, once the client mastered the greatness from this one coach, and then you would take it to another and you would take it to another, because I don't know about you, but because we are limitless, you do want to partake of the greatness of other people. Absolutely. Which is one of the reasons why I love the Mastermind, because it's collaborative and it's a group of people. But that's really what you should be doing is, if you really want the best for your clients, it's what you said, it's an abundant mindset. Absolutely. It's not scarcity, it's abundant. And it's awesome too.
100%.
We live in a really exciting time too. We really do.
I love it.
With all this that's going on in the world.
Yeah, we're evolving for sure. So I want to jump in really quick because you've got 3 podcasts going. Yes. So I want you to talk about these really quick. Tell our listeners about this so if they want to plug in. Give us some info on these.
So I do a podcast in the morning, every morning, Monday through Friday, 6:30 a.m. Central. And it's called Wake Up in the Word. And I do it with a friend of mine that's a pastor. And we started that actually in June. And I adore it. So we get up every morning, and it is, we start with prayer because I'm a faith-based person. And I don't know about you, but one of the things for me personally, since COVID, prior to COVID, I would separate my faith and my career. And once COVID hit, I just thought, I'm not doing that anymore. Yeah. And so I let everybody know, I'm a faith-based person and I'm not ashamed of it. I talk about it. I believe that's one of the reasons I'm as grounded as I am, because of my personal relationship with the Lord. And so it's not real churchy by any means. We don't go super in depth, but we typically have a few scriptures and we just talk, and we have guests on, and usually every week we have a theme, and our theme this week is addiction. We're talking about addiction. On Monday we had this collegiate athlete. Now she's older now, she's probably our age, but she was a collegiate athlete, gymnast, raised very religiously, and she got addicted to prescription pills. And they weren't even hers. Her husband had surgery. And, she said literally she was just brushing her teeth one day and she saw the pills in the bathroom, and she thought, well, I know people talk about pain pills and they kind of make you feel good. And so she took one and it just made her feel great. Yeah. And that started a 15-year addiction where she lost everything. I mean, her husband divorced her. She had only supervised visits with her kids. And, it's crazy, but we're just talking, there's all types of addictions. So, last week it was a different theme, but it's just getting in that consistency, because how important, how important consistency is for you to be successful in anything. Then the second podcast that I do is a podcast called Love and Health in America, and it's with Dr. Dewey Lee. He's in Plano, and let me tell you, he's awesome. And I've been working on him for about a year or so, and I'm like, Dewey Lee, you've got to have a podcast. Because he's board certified in 6 different specialties. He does brain health. Wow. He's so phenomenal. He plays the piano. And yesterday on the podcast, I just found out he played tennis. And I play tennis. I love tennis. Yeah. So I said, well, Dewey Lee, we got to go play tennis.
You have to have a podcast on tennis. Yeah.
And so we're going to, what we're going to do, just for your listeners, connect with me on my YouTube channel, Jen's with a G, ENS Johnson.com is my website, but my YouTube is just Jen's Johnson. Okay. But connect with me on that. Feel free. But one of the things that we're going to do with our Love and Health in America podcast is we're going to do a contest with our audience, and we're going to reward the person that shares our podcast the most with some complimentary Botox that Dr. Lee is going to be doing on camera.
Exciting!
So we're really excited about that. We got to give Jeff Crilly the promo for that, because he came up with that idea.
So good.
And then my third podcast that we just recently started, literally in September, is called A Heart to Help, and it is fighting the human trafficking that's going on. Yeah. And it's we have a retired police officer who out of Ohio that's recently moved to Florida, and let me tell you, Jennifer, just the stories that he will tell. And he just said, listen, so many people have a heart to help. They just don't know what to do.
Right.
And the more we talk about it and the more educated we become, we can help in so many different ways. You don't have to go volunteer. You don't have to even go give money. You just become aware of what's going on and spread the news, spread the knowledge. And we can all stop it together, because we can make a difference in whatever just horrific thing that's going on in this world. We can make a difference.
Sure. Awesome. Well, we'll tell our listeners to be sure to check all of those great shows. I've seen a couple of them. I know you're up early in the morning, so I see your morning one. I've seen the other one. I have not seen the new one yet, so we'll definitely have to check that out. So real quick, I want to switch gears and do a couple rapid fire with you, because I love these questions. And I will say this is the part of the podcast where I really get to humanize my guests. Okay. I love this. So these are quick and fun and easy. So, okay, so morning or night person? Do we need to ask?
I like both. I honestly,
But you're up early.
I
know
can
you're
get up early and I can stay up late.
Yeah, that's because you're moving all the
Yes,
time. You're
I'm
moving.
high energy, so either.
I love it. All right, cat or dog person?
Cat.
Cat? Do you have a cat?
I don't have a cat now because my husband's allergic to cats,
Okay.
but I had a cat my whole childhood, and I like cats because I just think they're more independent.
They are. You can be an independent person having a cat.
Yes.
It works very well. I have both cats and dogs. I agree with you on that one. So, all right. And Jens, what would you say is your favorite food?
You know what? I'm gonna have to say Mexican because I just eat it all the time.
love Mexican
And
too.
my mother is Spanish, so I do have Latino descent. So I grew up with that great
Chips
Mexican
and
food.
salsa.
Yes,
I could
anytime.
eat it every day.
Me too.
So
I'm gonna
every
eat it
week-
when I leave here.
Yeah, every week. Where do you want to go to dinner? Mexican food?
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
Chips and salsa. It is not the same to buy them in a store. You have to go to the restaurant
be
to
sitting
get
down.
the chips and salsa.
That's exactly
I agree,
right.
100%. All right, and then my last fun question I want to ask you. This is always my favorite rapid fire. If you could be any superhero or character for a day, what would you pick?
Wonder Woman.
I could see that.
Wonder
you just said that
Woman.
like and didn't even have to think about it.
Wonder Woman, because I like to think of myself as a Wonder Woman, not the Wonder Woman, but I like the truth lasso.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, women, we like the truth, you know?
Right.
And so Wonder Woman, that's who I would be.
I love it. I love it. This has been so great. You are awesome, and I love just your energy and everything that is coming. You and I think could sit here probably for a long time.
yeah, totally. See, I am so really committed to podcasts that I
Yeah.
swear I'm gonna do the whole Joe Rogan thing where he does 5-hour podcasts, and I'm
just
like,
gonna go.
I dig
We should
that.
have like a podcast telethon to see who can out talk
No,
each other.
listen, I would
That'd be
do it in a
great.
heartbeat. I mean, I've listened to Joe Rogan's 5-hour
right,
podcast driving, and
Yes.
I didn't skip a beat. I loved every second of it.
We
So,
could have so much fun with this. We can have like our own little podcast telethon or something.
hey,
It'd be so great.
I am there, Jennifer. I
got
am
it.
in the chair. I am there.
You got it. You got it. All right. Well, I know you said it earlier, but I want you to repeat it one more time. So if our listeners wanted to learn a little bit more about you, find you, where do we send them?
You know what? The easiest thing to do is go to my YouTube. So Jens Johnson, just go to YouTube, Jens Johnson, watch one of my videos, leave me a comment, and I will get back to you because, you know, there's so many other ways to touch somebody, but let's just do YouTube. Make it easy.
Yeah.
Make
I
it
love
easy.
YouTube's kind of the thing, I think. Now everybody's kind of moving around with this whole social media thing. And so I've been kind of trying to
Yes.
navigate everybody that way too. So this has been wonderful. I am so glad we got you on
Well,
here. I
thank
love what you're
you.
doing and all
I
your
love
energy and
you.
just all these podcasts and the stuff you've got going. I think it's amazing, amazing. We'll have to bring you back again and
Yes,
dive
we
in
have
a
to
little
have
bit
you
more.
on ours too.
Absolutely.
Maybe we'll put some Botox in you.
Yeah, that would be fun. That would
Although
be
you
fun.
don't look like you need any.
Oh, it'd be fun to try it. I haven't tried that. It'd be fun. So, all right. And with that, I do want to tell our listeners, of course, if you do love our podcast, please be sure you give us a rating both on iTunes and Facebook. We're now on, guess what? iHeartRadio, and we're on
Yay,
Amazon now.
that's
So
awesome.
we're on all the places you can find podcasts. But do give us a rating because we can't do this without you. And hit the subscribe button on YouTube. And with that, I'm going to leave you guys with a final thought. I think Jens will like this one. How to be mentally strong. Don't fear alone time. Don't dwell on the past. Don't feel the world owes you. Don't expect immediate results. Don't worry about pleasing everyone. Don't waste time feeling sorry for yourself. Don't waste energy on things you can't control. Don't let others influence your emotions. Don't resent on other people's successes. Don't shy away from responsibilities. Don't give up after the first failure. And don't fear to take calculated risks.
I love it. I love it.
And with that, you guys take care, be safe, and be kind to one another. We'll see you next time.